Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the first video in the integration series where we are going to see the integration between the different UiPath components, that is UiPath Apps, UiPath Data Services, Orchestrator and definitely UiPath Studio. I hope you have already watched the demo that what we are trying to do here. In case you have not watched the video for the demonstration, I'll provide the link in the description and you can watch that. Then this video will make more sense. So let's see the agenda for this video. Here we are going to start by designing the process in the UiPath Studio. This will include the scraping of the data from the website and putting it in a data table. Next we'll define the arguments in this workflow in this video. These arguments will be then used by the orchestrator and which in turn will be again used by UiPath Apps to communicate between the different components. We'll do a test run of the process in this video. To start the integration project, let's go to the website. So this is the website for which we have to extract the data. So this is the place where we have to put the data and extract this data and put it in a data services. So the first thing is we have to design this solution in UiPath Studio. So I go to UiPath Studio, I hit on process and I name this process to something called, let's say, currency mapping demo. Okay, I'll just correct the spelling here. Hit create. Okay, so this would be the solution which will be developed in UiPath Studio, and then with the help of UiPath Orchestrator we will pass this data from UiPath Orchestrator to UiPath Apps. So the first thing is we have main.xaml. So as we have seen in the integration first video that we require 3 arguments here. So I'll quickly go to arguments and I will create 2 input arguments. The first one would be source date. The next argument we require is the destination date, and the next argument is the currency. And all of the three I will just put as a type string. And then what we require is we require an out argument which would be the final output. So these are the 3 input and 1 output argument which will be invoked with the help of UiPath Apps, and all of the 3 arguments and the output argument should be in the main. Okay, so because main is the first XAML which is called from the orchestrator whenever the process is executed. Okay, so the first thing is we have to write a process to extract the data from here. So in this video I am not going to follow all the specific RE framework and all those stuff, because the objective here is to just show the integration. The first I'll take a sequence. So I'll go here and I'll create a new sequence. I call this one extract data. Okay, create. Okay, so the first thing is we have to open the browser. So I take a activity called open browser. Okay, and the next thing would be to provide the URL. So here I'm just providing it an IE, and the URL would be the URL of this website. Okay, I'll just go to home. Okay, and this is the URL which we have to open the IE. So I'll provide this URL here, hit OK. Oh, and the next thing we have to do is we have to go to the home page, right? So what I will do is I will just take a click activity and I will point it to the home. And before that I want to ensure that whenever I am coming in this screen the window is maximized. So I will take a maximize window activity. So what will happen, the browser will open with this URL. We have specified the browser type to Internet Explorer. Okay, so the browser type is Internet Explorer. Okay, and we are maximizing the window, then we are clicking on the home button, and then we have to extract the data. Okay, so before extracting the data, when I click here, so the first thing I have to do is I have to click here, which is the historical lookup. Okay, so I just collapse this one. I go to the activity, I take one more click activity. Okay, and point it to the historical lookup. Okay, let's go back, and historical lookup looks something like this. Okay, next step is I have to put the source date here. So I will take an activity. So now this page is changed. So what I will do is, instead of writing everything in the open browser now, what I will do is I will take an attach browser now, because the browser has changed. not the browser, but actually the page has changed. So I will take an attach browser. I will attach the newly open window. Next, I'll take a type into activity and I point it to the search bar, this guy. Okay, and the next will be to provide some date. So let's say as of now, let's just provide it some hard-coded date, 2020 hyphen 12 hyphen. Okay, so I have already created the arguments, right? So we can use the argument. So the argument is in the main. Okay, so as of now, to just test this workflow, just go with hard coding, 2020 hyphen 12 hyphen 11. So 11th of December I have put it hard coding. So whenever I type into this text box, I want to empty the existing content. So what I can do is empty field, I'll set it to true. Okay, and the next, when I press this one, I want to hit end. So whenever we type the details, so there is a go button here. So what we'll do is we will go to the activities, take one more click activity and point it to the go button. Okay, so whenever we type the date here, it would just type the date here, erase everything and hit the go button. Okay, and the next thing I have to do is I have to scrape the data. To scrape the data, I can always go here at the top and there is something called data scraping. Hit next, select the first element, that is this guy. Okay, I want to extract the whole table. Okay, so okay, I have selected the wrong table. So if I just cancel this, okay, if I go back, so this is just the top 10 and this is the actual data which we require for the comparison. Okay, so I'll again go back to the UiPath Studio, take the data scraping, select a value. Okay, yes. Okay, so now it looks like we have extracted all the data and I will just select this to 200 records to be on the safer side. Let's check. We do not have the next page. We are good here. Finish. Okay, is the data spanning multiple pages? No. Okay, and the data scraping part is completed. Let's just verify the data table count by printing it in a message box. So I'll quickly go ahead and take a message box to check whether everything is working fine or not. So I'll go here and take a message box and I will type the data table. So what is the extract data table here? So whenever we extract the data, we are getting a data table called extract data table. I'll just type here extract data table dot rows dot count dot toString. Okay, save everything. Okay, I'll go back here and close the Internet Explorer. Now let's save thing and let's try to run this. So I go here and run the file. So the website is open. Now it will type on the historical lookup. It should type the date and okay, so the date typed very quickly and it was not able to clear the data. Okay, so let's correct the automation for that. I'll stop the process. So when it was typing here in the type into activity, what happened that it didn't clear the existing one. So because empty field, okay, it was selected as true. So what I will do is I will just put some delay here. Okay, so delay before typing. So I will just put a delay of 2 seconds here. Okay, what is this? Okay, click before typing, sorry, my bad. So we have to put some delay before executing this activity. So what I'll do is I will just put a activity here. So there is an activity called, there is a property of type into activity which is called delay before. So I'll just give it to 2000. That means 2 seconds just you wait before this activity is executed. And there is something called click before typing. I'll just enable that one also. And there is something, one more property which we call, let me look for it, wait for ready. So I just want it to complete. Okay, and one more thing, delay between keys. Okay, so the delay between keys, let's just check the property. So the default value is 10 milliseconds. I can just alter it to 15 milliseconds. Save everything, close this guy, run the file. Okay, it has put the data, hit on go. Okay, and 53 records were extracted in the data table. So this is almost completed our flow, and we were able to get the data table here. So in the further part of the automation, this table will be inserted in the data services. Okay, so let's go back to the main. Okay, and now in the extract data table we require an input date, so I'll just put one argument here. I will just type here in underscore date, and we can repeat this flow, and this would be an input argument of type string. Okay, and what will happen in the type into activity, now instead of this hard coding string we will pass in underscore date. Okay, and the data scraping wizard, so I'll just keep this message box here just in case, and we will remove it in the later part of the automation. Save everything, we'll go to the main, and in the main what we will do now is we'll just pass it here. So what would happen is whenever the main dot XAML will execute, I'll just import the arguments, and in underscore date will be the argument of in underscore source date from the main. Okay, so I'll just copy this one, I'll go to import arguments, and we'll pass this date here, source date. Okay, and what else? So we have completed this workflow. Okay, so let's try to run this same flow for the destination date as well. So what we'll do is I'll just invoke the same flow once again. I will just rename this to source. Okay, and this would be for the destination. So what we are doing here, we are invoking the same workflow. In the first time we will give the source date, and again in the next time we will give the destination date here, and the destination date will be the input argument here. Okay, so I have this guy and this guy, and now if I run this flow, what would happen is it should close the Internet Explorer. Okay, so we were manually closing the IE browser, right? So that is not involved, so that part of automation is not coded here. So I go here and open workflow. So before starting anything, I just want to kill everything, so I'll take a kill process, and I will just kill the iexplore.exe in the process name, double quotes iexplore. So what would happen is whenever the process is executing, it will just kill the process. Okay, so I repeat, this is not the best practice. So the intent of this video is just to show the integration between the different UiPath technology, hence we are not following the best practices. Okay, so import arguments, source has become. So now what would happen if I run this process, and if I just pass the value of source here, so I just pass 2020-12-11, and the destination to 2020-12-10 maybe. Now what should happen is when I run this flow, we should get two message boxes. The first one would be for the 11, and the next one would be for the 10th. Okay, so let's save everything. We go to the run menu and select run. Okay, so the bot is started. It has opened the Internet Explorer with the URL. It will click on the historical lookup. Now it will put the date. Now it has clicked on the go button. Next thing, it will scrape the data and give us the data count, so that is 53. So this is executing, and I'll just click on OK. Next, it will again open the website, click on historical lookup, extract the data for the destination date now. Okay, so it will just put the destination date here, hit go. Okay, and for the next record, I have again received the count of 53. So that means my both invoke extract workflow for source and destination is working as expected. Okay, so now one more change here. I will not put the message box here, and instead of putting the message box, what I will do is I will just put a write line here. So that would make more sense. I'll put a write line here. I'll just remove this thing, and I will just type here extract data table dot rows dot count dot toString, and to know that this is from the source, so I'll just, okay, I cannot get the source. So what I can do is, we have the import arguments here in date, so what I can do is I can just print the date in front of it, so that we are able to know that for which of the flow we are getting which count. Okay, so I'll just type in of date here and followed by a plus, then some of the string formatting. And so now what will happen is, whenever we execute this flow, the workflow will extract the data and it will type the date. So from that we can know that, okay, this is the source or this is the destination date, and then it will just write line the data. Okay, I'll copy. Okay, so it's basically the same workflow, so it has got replicated. Okay, so we have implemented a flow in the UiPath Studio that was able to extract the data from the website and put it in a data table. We have printed the data table count in a message box that implies that we were successfully able to scrape the data. We have defined the input and the output arguments here. So these are the input and the output arguments that will be used by the UiPath apps and the UiPath Orchestrator. So that is all for this video. I'll wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. Please stay tuned for the coming videos in this series, where we'll be working on the data services and then with the UiPath apps, and then at the last we'll see the integration between all the three components. So if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel, and if you want to know about the data services, I have a completely dedicated video playlist on my YouTube channel that is dedicated to data services. Please do watch that. Thank you for watching and happy automation.